Hey, how's it going? So just wanted to do a video for a Friday. Thought I'd do a follow up on the Elm Street set. So basically I did an unboxing, but I did a very kind of like straightforward like POV unboxing. So I thought basically, because I've spent most nights of the past like sort of 7 days watching the 7 films in the set. I haven't watched the remake. I was intending to, but I decided I'll just go with the original 7. So I had a pretty good time watching them. I must admit though, like, as much as I love Freddy Krueger as a character and love Elm Street, like, it has been a bit of a slog getting through them like night after night. I mean, these films are quite great, most of them in their own right, but I would actually rather pick them out like randomly and just watch them, like, you know, say pick out Dream Warriors or like Dream Master, you know, randomly amongst watching other films rather than watch the whole lot together. But it has been quite interesting, like, seeing them. It's been years since I've actually watched the franchise all together. I think the last time was with the DVD set. I picked this up like probably late 2000s. I think that's when it was kind of around. It's got all 7 films in again. Really nice set to some extent. I might have a little look at this on the video in a few minutes. But yeah, the last time was about the late 2000s, probably maybe like even 20 years ago. So mid 2000s when I watched all 7 original films together. So certainly an experience. My sort of viewpoint on some of the movies has changed. My favourites have remained the same. So my favourites are basically the first one, I think, is the best film, and then of course Dream Warriors is like a close second as things really kind of get taken to the next level with the dream sequences. So you've got the great like scene where Freddy's like a puppeteer with the heroin addict and his veins are being used as puppet strings. That's a great scene in Dream Warriors, as of course the Welcome to Prime Time bitch, the TV scene's just fantastic as well there. And of course when he turns into the big like kind of snake Freddy, like the big like creature, you know, like the slug Freddy, who's just like devouring things. That's like really fun as well in Dream Warriors. So as far as my favourites are concerned, that's about stayed the same. And then my least favourites have, it's just a couple of them have gone up a little bit in my estimation, whilst one of them I didn't actually enjoy upon this rewatching of the series. But yeah, this is the set anyway. I'm sure most of you have seen it, but it's just like the Steelbook set, 7 films. I'll just go through them and give a few thoughts, and then I might tag a ranking on the end as well, and I'll even include the remake in the ranking, although I didn't watch it in this batch of rewatches. So you got the first film. This Steelbook is obviously the same as what's in here, so I do have 2 copies of this Steelbook now, but the problem is I don't really see the point in selling this, as it's not going for too much, so it's not like you'd make a little bit back anyway. And also I just love this hard box that it came in, and being such a Nightmare fan, I thought, you know, it's one of the best horror franchises. I'll keep the original with the, you know, the lovely slip box, so I'll keep that for now. But that means I have 2 of these original Steelbooks, as that set has this one in there as well. But yeah, of course it's the best film. For me, it's the best film. I just love the introduction of Freddy. You know, it's not like, we haven't got to the point yet where he's like overly cartoonish, although I will talk about that with one of the later films and why, you know, as now time's kind of passed since I last watched it, I actually kind of just accept that Freddy goes a little bit cartoonish, and it's kind of fun, and I'll talk about that a little bit later on. But yeah, the first one's the best. It's got the best kind of atmosphere. It builds and builds. Freddy's not given away on screen too easily, so he kind of like, you know, bit by bit you see more of Freddy Krueger and learn his kind of backstory. And it's just, yeah, it's the most nightmarish, brilliant idea from director Wes Craven, the first film. And then of course we have Freddy's Revenge, the second one, and I think this does have a bit, yeah, it has a bit of a following now, but I've just never been too keen on this one. I think it's because it's such a tonal shift from the first film. Now it does have some good moments, of course, like the pool scene's great, and as a Freddy fan it's great seeing him like cause carnage and like tear shit up at like the poolside. But as a whole, just not too keen on the story of the film. I think the guy's called Jesse, isn't he? It's just, I just find it a little bit like underwhelming, because I think that's because the first film's so good. And even in this one, like, they try something different with Freddy, which I kind of appreciate, but it's not quite Freddy's not quite like reached his like peak kind of level of like coming into his own. And that's when you get to one of the best in the franchise, I think, and that's Dream Warriors. Cool setup, set basically in a mental institute, like an asylum, well, a sort of like care home place where like teenagers who are like got some problems are, and Freddy's obviously targeting them as they are some of the final remaining Elm Street kids. So Freddy's targeting them. You've got great scenes, as I referenced earlier, like the puppeteer scene with the string, you know, the veins being used as strings for the heroin addict, and of course other great stuff as well, including Welcome to Prime Time, which is just pretty hilarious, where that girl goes up to the TV and then Freddy pops out because she's dreaming and whatnot. But yeah, this is where I think Freddy comes into his own a bit. You've got a few more of the sort of one-liners, like Welcome to Primetime Bitch and stuff, but it's not got to the point of the cartoonish antics of Freddy haven't got to the point of saturation in 3, and it's just a good blend of everything. It's kind of a little bit creepy, a little bit scary, kind of resembles the original a bit. I think it was written by Wes Craven, this one, or co-written, so that makes sense that his fingerprints are on it. But yeah, love Nightmare 3 Dream Warriors. And then of course you get to the Dream Master, where obviously Freddy gets a little more comedic and stuff. I do enjoy this one. I think it's fun, and this one did look good in 4K. I think all of them I thought were good 4Ks, but later on in the series, especially with them perhaps being later films, I thought they looked a bit better. I thought Dream Master looked really good. I thought Dream Child looked good. Freddy's Dead looked good. New Nightmare looked good, although that is kind of shot a little bit differently. I don't know, 4, 5 and well, especially 4 and 5, Dream Master, Dream Child, with them having the reoccurring character of Alice in there, they are like kind of similar in tone and aesthetic to some degree. But yeah, Dream Master's pretty good. It's got some good sequences. You've got the return of characters like Kincaid from the Dream Warriors, the 3rd film. Spoiler coming up, he gets dispatched quite quickly, and then you kind of enter into this character of Alice after the remaining few from Dream Warriors have been, so another spoiler, killed by Freddy. But it's a pretty good one. It's got some good dream sequences, like the yeah, it has the cockroach scene, doesn't it? This one's pretty good, where Freddy's taunting, and yeah, basically, I won't give too much away anymore, but basically he turns this girl into like a cockroach in her dream and pulls her apart bit by bit and squashes her, and that's quite fun as like a dream sequence. But yeah, but overall Dream Master, I think it's remained about the same in my kind of like ranking, which I'll get to very shortly actually, because I've already gone through 4. And then we get to Dream Child. I was never always that keen on this one, but rewatching it in 4K, I must say, like with the kind of elevated like picture quality and the colour depth, it really is a nice film to look at, and on ultra high definition that really shown. And I found that basically, again, the dream sequences are kind of like upped a little bit in scale. It's got some really cool like elaborate dream sequences, like especially like when Greta's being fed at the table, that character, and basically she's being fed, she's got an slight like eating complex, like eating disorder, because like her mother wants her to be like a model. So Freddy obviously takes fully advantage of that and feeds her up till she's got a really like big fat like puffy grotesque face, and she's about to burst, and she's just stuffed full of like gruel and whatever food he's feeding her, and she's got a big kind of face, and the special effects look awesome. That's one thing that really impressed me upon rewatching the Dream Child. I thought, I've forgotten how good the effects are in this film, because the dream sequences are fun as hell. You've got that really cool yeah, this one has a really cool comic book kill as well, where you get like Super Freddy, you know, where he's kind of like enlarged and he's like got more muscle mass, and basically goes after this comic book geek in his dream or fan, and like takes care of them, and it's like really fun. Love the comic book scene in this one. But yeah, Dream Child gone up a little bit in my estimation. I think I had it at about a 3 star. It's now gone up to a 4, just for the special effects alone. And I thought the story was pretty good as well, with the whole you know, like thousands of maniacs in Freddy's Krueger's mother. So on to the final 2 now. I'll just give a few quick thoughts, especially on Freddy's Dead, another one which I never used to like at all. I thought it was far too cartoonish. They took Freddy to a point of self-parody, and that still kind of remains the case, but I didn't, upon rewatching it, and obviously and now I've softened a little bit on the film, I thought it was quite fun. I thought it's one of the, I mean, in like Dream Master and Dream Child, they do kind of up the comedic antics of Freddy and make him more comedic in tone. But I think in Freddy's Dead they do it to an extent where they're just leaning into it, and it's quite fun to watch, especially like the scene where Freddy's playing the video game and controlling that like guy, and he's kind of, it looks really cartoonish, and in reality he's just bouncing up and down, and it's actually quite hilarious. So as silly as like Freddy's Dead is, it is a pretty hilarious movie, and it is quite fun how they really leaned into like the comedic aspects of Freddy. And then you get to the seventh movie, which is New Nightmare. It's very meta, and it's basically, it's got Heather Langenkamp reprising her role as Nancy, but she's not actually Nancy, she plays herself in this because it's all meta, and it's basically about her as a character and how she starred in A Nightmare on Elm Street, and how Freddy Krueger is not just a creation from Wes Craven, he's actually now blending and merging into her reality. So quite meta and stuff, but it's good. Like it does heavily rely on her son, who's obviously having problems being caused by Freddy entering his dreams, turning them into nightmares subsequently. But overall, really good film. I do like the tone in this one. I like how they kind of went back to the more serious, kind of scarier, like kind of creeping tone for Freddy Krueger, like into the original 1984 film. I did like that. It's a bit of a throwback as well to that kind of Freddy Krueger, but also whilst being his own thing, as obviously he looks a little bit different. They've kind of like sort of like refined his look a little bit. So I think the New Nightmare actual look of Freddy is one of the best. Obviously, it is Robert Englund playing Freddy again, and he's even in the film as a character, which is really fun to see when he comes on stage at that talk show, and they're playing the Nightmare on Elm Street like score, but as like some sort of like silly catchy jingle, like really fun. But yeah, there's just a few thoughts on the 7 films after watching them for a week. So cleared the set, watched them all back to back. Like I say, bit of an endeavour watching them night by night, but I did enjoy it. Like, it's always good to see some Freddy movies, but I don't think I'll watch the series as a whole, like each film consecutively, for a very long time. I think now what I'll do is once a year I'll just pick one out. I might think, okay, I fancy some cartoonish Freddy, let's watch Freddy's Dead. I fancy more serious Freddy, let's watch the first film, New Nightmare. I fancy something in between, Dream Child or Dream Warriors, Nightmare 3. What I'll do now is I'll do a quick ranking of the movies, and then we'll I'll finish this video. But I did enjoy talking about it. I just wanted to, I know I'm a little bit late, but I do sometimes, regardless of whether I'm late or not, I do like to put things on the channel because I just enjoy doing this, and it's a good outlet for me. I enjoy talking about the movies I pick up. So I'll do a ranking, and then we'll wrap the video up. Yeah, I'm slightly tired as well, just waking up. It is like 6 AM, and I thought, after having a bit of an earlier night, after watching New Nightmare, I thought, well, I'll get some sleep and then I'll come on and do a video. But yeah, I'm going to do all 8 films, so I'll rank the 7 ones in the Steelbook set, obviously. I won't be ranking them by transfer or anything like that. They all look pretty good. I knew what the first one looked like anyway from having the limited edition set from last year. But regardless of that, in this ranking, I will do all 8 films. I can still remember the remake quite vividly to some degree, so I will pop this in the ranking of the 8 Freddy Krueger films. I won't be including Freddy vs Jason, but I've got this lenticular edition of the 2010 remake, which I don't think is particularly a good film, and I love Robert Englund as Freddy. You know, he's just iconic and so good, but I do like the kind of job they did on Freddy Krueger in this one. They made him more creepier, he's a lot more unsettling. It's just not a great film as a whole, and could have had so much more, you know, being a Nightmare on Elm Street sequel. But let's get to this ranking anyway. Let me try and just like shuffle my things about. I'm pretty off the cuff on these videos. I do some editing sometimes and put a little like directorial flair on them, if you will, to my kind of standards. But I will start with the 8. So 8, the ranking of A Nightmare on Elm Street, all 8 movies, including the remake. No Freddy vs Jason. I class that more as just a crossover movie and more of a Friday the 13th film, really, to me. I mean, I suppose that's quite subjective, though. So coming in at 8, I'm going to go with Freddy's Dead. I know a few people like it, but for me, like I said, it's too much of a tonal shift from the kind of like heights of the first film, and I just find it a little bit underwhelming. So coming in at number 8, the lowest entry for me is Freddy's Revenge. And it is really, because of the tonal shift. I find it underwhelming with it being the one that follows the first film. It's okay though, it has a few good moments. Coming in at number 7 is another pretty bad entry into the franchise, and that's the remake. I do prefer it to Freddy's Dead, although having no Robert Englund in this one, which is a bit of a shame. Who's the actor called who's actually in it? Jackie Earl Haley. So he does a good job as Freddy Krueger. I don't know who else they would have got if he didn't do it. I'm sure there's a lot of candidates and a lot of people have an opinion on who they would have had play Freddy Krueger in a remake, but I thought this Earl Haley guy did pretty good and comes across very sinister and creepy, a little bit more like into the 1984 original movie. So there's my number 7. Let's go. I'm kind of like, a couple of them are quite interchangeable for me, so okay. 7. Coming at number 6, I'll go Freddy's Dead. It used to be probably lower to me even than the second one, but I really enjoyed the way they leaned into the cartoonish nature of Freddy. I mean, it's not like they never make Freddy serious even, because he's more serious in New Nightmare, which comes after this film. But 1991 is it? This film is from. Freddy's Dead. It's fun for what it is. It's a very easy watch. And a fun Freddy Krueger movie. I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong. I prefer my Freddy Krueger more sinister and kind of serious, but I'll take a movie where he's completely wacky and silly. At least it looks like Freddy Krueger's having a good time. That's my number 6. So a couple of these have changed a little bit. So for me, that's the one. Coming in at number 5 is the Dream Master. This one I rated a little bit higher, but I just find with the Dream Master is, yeah, again, it's quite a good looking Nightmare on Elm Street film with some more elaborate nightmare kill scenes, but I just found it a little bit grating the more I watch it. I don't know why, there's just something with me about Dream Master. It's a good film to some degree, and it's one of the better ones in the franchise, and it is a bit better than all the films I've shown in the ranking prior. I don't know, it's just every time I watch it, I just kind of, I don't know, like, I don't know, it's not even the main one I've watched the most. The first one's the one I've seen the most, but I just find Dream Master, every time I watch it, it just, I like it, but I just don't find it that enthralling. So that's my number 5. So I used to rate this one a little bit higher, but it's gone down very slightly, only like by about half a star, but I think that's because I'm quite used to it and I've seen it a few times. So at number 4, I'm going to go New Nightmare. Cool idea, cool concept. We've got Wes Craven in the director's chair again, which is just brilliant, and it's a really good Nightmare on Elm Street film. It's just, I found there was too much, upon rewatch, you know, getting my eyes on it again, I did find that there was a little bit too much like attention and focus on the child who's going through stuff like Nancy's child, although she's Heather in this film, but I did find a little bit too much focus on that. There's a fair bit of Freddy Krueger in there, which is good, but things I do like is the look of Freddy. He looks really cool in this one. They've kind of refined the burn markings and everything, and it's kind of interesting because Wes Craven's back in the directorial seat, and the whole meta concept of like a Nightmare, you know, telling the story of like Heather, who starred as Nancy in the first film, and basically she's herself in this film, and it's all meta is what I'm trying to say simply. It's an interesting concept, New Nightmare, and it's a good one at that, and there's some really good scenes as well. They reenact the, you know, the scene where Tina gets slashed and is being thrown around all over the ceiling and the bedroom walls in the first Nightmare on Elm Street. Well, they recreate that with Heather's child's babysitter in a hospital room, which is kind of cool. You know, just a bit of a throwback and a nod to the OG. So top 3 now. At number 3, this one's gone up quite a bit in my estimation. The Dream Child, mainly because of how impressive the dream sequences are. And you've got baby Freddy and the special effects. And seeing these special effects in 4K just look pretty stunning. I thought this transfer was particularly good, Dream Child. And now top 2, I've kind of revealed this in the comments section if you care to have noticed. Not everybody will, but I'll just do it anyway. Number 2, Dream Warriors. Went over this one a bit ago. You got some great kill scenes. It's where they kind of delve a little bit more into the comedic tone of Freddy whilst also retaining his kind of sort of a sinister presence as well. So he's not overly wacky, but a little bit comedic with the one-liners, but they still managed to keep the kind of cool kind of like creepy, scary tone of the first film. And speaking of the first film, of course, coming in #1, the original A Nightmare on Elm Street. It's the best, it's classic, it's the original film, it's the idea of Freddy Krueger, the dream demon, and the whole concept of being slaughtered in your nightmares by a dream demon. It's its first kind of like outing of the idea, and it's just the best one. It seems more fresher in this one. It's definitely the scariest one. It's got the more serious tone, you know, whilst also Freddy's also like kind of, with Freddy being such a recognisable character through starring in a lot of like movies in the franchise, when you go back and watch the first one, you do kind of have that in your head slightly. So Freddy's very recognisable with him being so iconic, but it still manages to have a bit of mystique about him as the film unfolds and you find out why the parents of Elm Street, you know, burnt him alive and whatnot and things like that. But it's the best one, definitely, in Nightmare on Elm Street. That's the end of the video anyway. Thanks for watching. As late as I am, I just thought, well, it's going to take me a week to get through these films consecutively, and I just wanted to do a little ranking as well. But I'll do The Mask soon, because I've just got the Arrow video limited edition of The Mask, so I'm going to watch the new 4K, and I'll do like a review thing on that as well. But that could be within a couple of days, because, you know, just got other stuff on. But yeah, I definitely thought I'd come on and talk about the Nightmare on Elm Street set. And yeah, have a great weekend and watch some scary movies, because that's what I do quite often to get away from this world and unwind, because we just need that. We just